I'm actually content with what SHIB has been doing this weekend. You never know what you're going to get when you get these sizable rallies heading into a weekend. You can obviously meet a lot of resistance. You can see big drop offs in volume, which we have, and that could actually lead to some pretty significant retracements. Could lead to a lot of the gains, in fact, being lost. But SHIB continues to stick like glue to this very important trend, which we will talk about in this video. But I also want to address a video that was actually done by Zach Humphreys, just a couple things there, and talk about just a few other things going on in the space. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So right now, SHIB is actually up at almost 4010. We're not far away from this. And frankly, the big thing I'm watching right here is this 20-day moving average. We obviously got a little bit of red yesterday, a little bit of sell. It's not surprising that there's profit taking, guys, when we go on an 11% pump. It's like I was talking about yesterday. You can, in fact, see these entire candles completely deleted, just like we did all the way back in August. Hasn't happened so far. And again, maybe that changes come Monday. But for right now, we're at least looking pretty decent. We're sitting right on top of this 20-day moving average. We actually closed yesterday's candle above that 20-day moving average. That's pretty promising. All right. Now, today we actually have a bit of a dragonfly doji building, which is technically a bullish reversal candle. You can look it up if you want to. Not even saying that we're going to close this candle here. Again, right now it's about 6:50 a.m. Central Standard Time. We have a lot of day ahead of us here. And one thing I did notice here too is we are almost building a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders. We're actually seeing this on a couple charts here. So maybe this could give us a little bit of momentum here. If we get a push, especially late Sunday. We know that sometimes as we get into late Sunday, these days can be somewhat manipulated. We could see some green and then maybe our red comes. But here's the thing. We're still just watching and waiting what BTC does here. We're waiting to see which confirmed move BTC is going to do. It keeps bouncing off of 100K, which is a great sign. But again, it's going to come down to institutions. It's going to come down to retail conviction. Luckily, leverage hasn't really changed a whole lot over the last 24 hours. There are some big whales that have opened up positions, so that's usually a promising sign. I did obviously talk about that in my ADA video earlier today. I actually have this pulled up, so I'm just going to mention it. Bitfinex whales nailed the last two Bitcoin major moves. They're fully long again, just like they were in late 2024, just like they were in early 2025 when we came down to those April lows and exploded from there. Now, again, not saying that this needs to continue to play out this way. We can be very unpredictable heading through this weekend because it is a lower volume weekend, 125 billion in trading volume over the last 24 hours. You guys can see SHIB is down at 147 million over that time as well. So comfortable spot for the weekend. I know I'm going to be just kind of relaxing, watching football. And that's what we should be doing this weekend. We should be relaxing. We don't really have to watch the charts. I usually just set price alerts and watch and wait and for any thing that pops up as the day progresses. Now, here's the thing. Zach Humphreys, actually a good buddy of mine, he made a video yesterday and it was actually talking about, he said he needs to be completely honest about this. And he was actually talking about SHIB and he was talking about some of the failed progress when it came to the SHIB ecosystem development team. He talks about a pivot in the space, and there's a lot of things that he's right about. This market cycle, SHIB has not been the best performer. And a big reason why that is again, we are seeing a different type of investor enter the space in this cycle versus cycles past. It's not retail. It's institutional players. It's enterprises. And you have to remember the big thing that they're focused on right now is real world assets, infrastructure. Right now, Shiba Inu is not either of those. And that's something that obviously can change. You know, if the SHIB ecosystem ever gets it put together and decides to do some, I don't want to, bash them. But the problem, like he mentioned, is that they tried to do too many things too quickly. Basically, they tried to go too big too fast. And that's where we saw a lot of problems with the ecosystem. That's why we haven't really seen big adoption when it comes to shibarium. It's why many of these parts of the ecosystem still have not been deployed. And the problem with that is you kind of took the community that you have and you kind of were stretching it very, very thin. Now, here's the thing I will say. That doesn't mean that SHIB has collapsed. It doesn't mean that SHIB's dead or anything like that, because it's like we talked about. SHIB continues to gain holders, which is a great sign. Whale accumulation actively taking place. That's a great sign. Exchange supply removal. That's a great sign. So fundamentals are still remaining good right now. But again, the big problem that you have is if you're not seeing new retail enter the space, you're stuck with the same group of people. Some of those people who have been burned by SHIB in this market cycle that aren't really coming back. So you're pulling from a smaller and smaller and smaller pool until we actually see retail re-enter the space. That's where we're at right now. And this is something I've talked about and alluded to many times, is that retail just simply hasn't returned to the market. That's what leads us to euphoria. That's what leads us to traditional up-only seasons, our big alt seasons, our big explosive moves in the charts. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that SHIB can't do this, because it can, right? We have seen several other assets in the space explode just because capital rotation hits them and they run. We can, in fact, see those moves, and maybe that even brings some people back. But the point I'm trying to make is, in this cycle, we basically were, I don't even want to say fooled. It's just that retail hasn't returned. It's as simple as that. And I don't want to keep repeating myself and saying this over and over again, but it's funny because people keep making these judgments and saying all these, SHIB is dead and it's fading away, all these different things. And the thing is our timing is just off. All right. So it's like we've talked about in some other videos. It seems like the market has transitioned to more of a business cycle than a 4-year cycle, which for those that aren't familiar, it's a 5-year cycle. So I think that 2026, again, like we've talked about, could be very opportunistic for the markets. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But the things I'll point to is ETF products, rate cuts, quantitative easing, which is again set to it's quietly beginning already, because the Fed has been expanding their balance sheet very quietly, especially in the start of November here. But there are big things that are actually going to inject more liquidity into the economy, which in turn injects more liquidity into the markets. It takes time to get there, and we're seeing some of the early signs, early phases of this, early signs of this. But until retail starts coming back, we're not going to see many of these other altcoins do incredible things. And if they do, it can be very short-lived runs before a big boom. And maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe the market just decides to take off. Here's what I will say is the liquidity that's in the market right now is enough to expand the current market cap of crypto to about $6-7 trillion. All right. We have so much parked capital on the sidelines that has not re-entered the space. We have so many people tiptoeing around the crypto market right now, just hesitant to make a move. And we just need the confidence to return. We need retail to return. We need confidence to return. And I guess we need the SHIB ecosystem to get it in gear, to get it all figured out. So that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate it as always. I hope you enjoyed the video. And understand this doesn't mean I'm wavering in terms of SHIB at all. I'm very confident about what it can do. Again, I keep looking at fundamentals. And until those change, SHIB is just fine. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.